So yesterday we went to Viharamahadevi Park, which is a beautiful park in the centre of Colombo. What wasn't so good was we actually got scammed. Fortunately, only out of £10. Before we came here, everyone told us about how friendly and how amazing and really nice the local people are, and they are. We've experienced that, but we kind of maybe naively took it a bit too far yesterday when we were walking through the park, and a random man approached us while we were near a statue, and he started talking to us. He said that he was a caretaker for the garden, and he just took it upon himself to start showing us round, took us to the statue, took photos of us by the statue, and then he was like, "Have you seen the cinnamon tree?" And we were like, "No." And then he said, come, I show you. And then he started talking to us, saying how he loved interacting with English people so that he could improve his English, sorry, not Sri Lankan. And we kind of just got swept up by his generosity and how good he was at just talking to us and explaining and showing us. And in the end, it just kept going and going, and we were caught off guard a little bit. Now, when I tell the story back, it's quite clear that something was a bit fishy, but when you're caught up in the moment, it was so strange. He ended up, anyway, taking us to a few different trees in the park where we saw mangoes, guava, and there was a cinnamon tree as well, which he showed us, and he actually broke some of the cinnamon off and gave it to us and told us it was lucky. And then he took us to a temple over the road, and again, the temple was beautiful, and he was really knowledgeable. He really told us everything that we would want to know about the temple, something if we'd done ourselves we wouldn't have had any idea about. And again, it was great because we got photos of ourselves that he took outside the Buddha, outside all the statues. And then as we were walking back, he started talking about how other people, other tourist guides and people like that can be quite deceitful and quite scammy almost, and charge you a lot of money, and he wouldn't do that. But he then took us into some jeweller's shop, which I thought was really strange, and as we walked in, people in the jewellers were trying to sell us stuff, and we were just like, no, we're not interested, and we walked out. Then we got back towards the park, and as we got back towards the park, he knew that we didn't have any Sri Lankan money on us, we only had English pounds, and he then said, "Oh well, maybe you can take me to the supermarket and buy me some things from the supermarket." And we were like, "No, this isn't, we don't want this." And in the end, he wanted basically a minimum of £20 from us, from what we'd done. Now, bearing in mind, we were in a taxi from Negombo or Colombo airport to where we're staying in Colombo, and that taxi was around an hour, and that journey cost us £9. So when you think of this guy wanting £20 for a tour, which he kind of pushed on us, we smelt a rat basically, and we told him that the most we could give him was £10. That was the least amount of money that we had on us, and we weren't going to go any higher than that, and if he didn't want it, then don't take it. So in the end, he took the tenner. It left a bit of a bitter taste in our mouth, to be honest, but it's one of those things. It's a lesson that we've learned. And funny, while we were waiting for our tuk-tuk to take us into Face Green, another man approached us while we were sat on a bench and started talking about how he loved the gardens and he loved English gardens, and he was going to try and show us a tree. And again, we knew that this was a scam. So if you're travelling to Colombo and you're going to these parks, just be wary. Don't get caught out like we were. People are really friendly and really nice, but in those high tourist areas, just be careful of those people trying to scam you.